Good morning, ma'am. Attorney Franklin.
Good morning.
Good morning. Mr. Robinson is here. Are the parties ready for the case to be called?
Um, unless Mr. Robinson would like to discuss in a breakout room before moving forward.
I'm sorry, Judge, I can't hear.
She said unless you want to go into a breakout room.
Um, Yeah, I suppose we can, yeah.
Okay. I'm sending you into something that's labeled something completely different, but please go there. It says pallets waiting, but that's where I'm sending you.
Okay.
This
We're
is
ready.
230179 LT, Sunbeam Property Management versus Oakley and Robinson Law Firm. May I have your appearances, please?
Good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Kiana Frenuick, P73015, on behalf of plaintiff Sunbeam Property Management Company.
Good morning, Your Honor. Steve Robinson on behalf of the defendants.
Thank you. Today was the day and time set for the adjourned hearing in this matter. How are we proceeding this morning?
Your Honor, I was presented with a conditional dismissal yesterday, which quite frankly, I thought we were just about there, but there's really an issue as to what space that we're talking about right now. And I did have some communications with the landlord yesterday, which I think ultimately can be resolved. But instead of just kicking this can down the road, can we just set it for a trial date?
I'm looking at maybe April the 5th in the afternoon.
In the afternoon. That works for me.
Sorry, Judge, I was getting my calendar. I thought I had it with me. At what time, Judge?
1:30.
I have a what should be a real quick Zoom traffic matter in another court at 1:30. So if we could go 1:45.
I was gonna say it's 2 o'clock better.
I'll take 2 o'clock, Judge, just for a cushion in case. I don't think we're gonna be there, but
Either
April
time
5th
works
at
for me. Your Honor.
At 2 p.m. Is this live or Zoom?
I'm okay with Zoom.
I am too, Your Honor.
Trial date in this matter is Wednesday, April the 5th, 2023 at 2 p.m. on Zoom, unless the court receives something from the parties before that time. Anything else on behalf of the plaintiffs?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Anything else on behalf of the defendant?
No, Your Honor.
You both have a wonderful day. Good to see you.
You too. Thanks, Kiana.
You're welcome. Bye, Steve.
Mr. Morton and Ms. Kraus, it's early. I haven't seen any of the other tenants yet. I've made you both co-hosts, so as your parties appear, if you want to move them into waiting rooms and meeting rooms, feel free to do so.
Judge, I think I'm in the wrong spot.
Where are
I'm-
you supposed to be?
I'm here for a state case. You were listed on the docket, but it must not be you today.
No, it is not me. It is Judge Green. Do you need her?
I
Zoom
do
ID?
not, Judge. Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
You too.
I will keep an eye out for any of the defendants that appear, and I'll speak with them and then come back in front of you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Hiskey.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am well. The conditional dismissal entered in your case on March the 2nd and a copy was mailed to you. You do
Yeah.
not need to appear this morning.
Yeah, I didn't receive it, and my attorney just advised me if I didn't receive it to still appear to court.
I'm looking at the court's electronic file and it shows that it was entered on March the 2nd. If you have not, you haven't received a copy, as your attorney received a copy?
Nope. Neither one of us have.
Okay. If you would like to, you can come to the court and get a copy. It should be in the file. I don't have the file because it's not on the docket.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
it looks like it was mailed on the 2nd or so.
Yeah, I have a question off topic. I don't know if you remember me. You were the first one that married me and my husband. We were your first
Wait.
wedding.
With the kids with the Happy Meals?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, you were pregnant.
Yeah.
And I said, come back when you have the baby.
Yep.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am wonderful. Yeah, you were from, had you been living on the East Coast and you came here? I'm trying to think of how this went.
No,
You-
that was no, my husband was from Florida.
From Florida, okay.
Yep.
Oh, because you had the cutest kids with you and I said, do you want to do anything? You were like, nope, we just want to get the kids some food and get married.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, you got married in Judge Green's courtroom in the old building.
Yep.
That was 3 years ago, right?
No, that was only a year ago. Little over a year ago.
No, you're not who I think you are then. Wait a minute, let's think. You, the first one in this building.
Yeah.
Hiskey. Let me think.
It was Holowinski and Hiskey. We came in there. We did have our daughter with us. And she was trying to
Let
get a
me-
Happy Meal.
Let me see your husband. Okay, yep. Now, I thought you were saying from the old building, but you're the first wedding in this building.
Yep.
Your first wedding as a full judge.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So,
Not your first wedding, period. Your first wedding as a judge.
my first wedding as a judge. Okay.
Yep.
How's everything going?
Great.
Great.
Other than logging on at 9:20 for a case that's not going.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I wasn't sure. I didn't see it, and I was not taking any chances. I've been fighting with this case since January, so
We could have proved our case, but it's not worth the effort, the lawyer said.
yeah.
Well, the conditional dismissal, like I said, should have been,
Well, we heard
it shows it was entered on March the 2nd.
Yeah.
it was
we
worth it because the park wasn't included in court cost if we paid it before it went to court.
literally paid it 2 days later after the last court hearing. I just wanted to. That's all I wanted. I didn't want to assume.
Nope, as soon as I saw your name, I realized that I hadn't reviewed the file. And I said, I don't remember seeing you on for today. So I pulled it up and I can see that it was entered on March the 2nd, which means they would have mailed it within a day or two, but that was a Thursday. So they might have mailed it maybe the 6th.
Yeah, no, I haven't received it at all.
It might be the paper that's not scanned into or scanned. The one that says,
The mail cannot
package
be,
not-
yeah.
yeah.
If not, I'll go to the court and get it. I got to go to the court anyway, so.
You say you have to go to court anyway?
I have to come and file a motion against a garnishment that was for a fraudulent count on my identity.
And the
So do you have the case number for today, right? Not
Yeah.
for today, but for this landlord tenant. So
Yeah.
when you come in, just ask the civil department to pull the file and they'll make a copy.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else?
Show proof that it's paid.
Yeah, do we need to show proof that it was paid?
To the court?
Yeah,
No, because whatever the terms of the conditional dismissal were, as long as you met them, the case stays dismissed. It's only if you
Okay.
fail to do something that the attorneys file a affidavit of non-compliance and take a next step. But as long as you've done everything you're supposed to do, Mr. Levine's office will do what they need to do.
all right, thank you.
You're so welcome. Good to see you both. Have a good day.
You too, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
She remembers your husband now.
Aw. Super, how are you? No.
Yeah, for 7 days, I just want. Yeah, oh yeah, I think she goes there, or he goes there 3 times a week.
Oh, they're already taking it.
Yeah,
Oh.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Okay, so they toured the place.
Yeah.
There's different levels of what you do, space that they're in. Where it's there, it's just that much different.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, we never had a problem.
Okay. Well, I told my daughter, I said, look, I'm judge. You know,
That's cool.
yeah, like yours, like hers. And I said, you know, they want to make sure that, you know, they don't tour with hoses and stuff like that.
They are super active. If they follow their agents, they'll see it. They'll show outside, because they have a turf in the backyard, so they have all sunshades and ramps and stuff. So a certain temperature, they have fire hydrant that squirts water, they call it, it's cool, but it's like, just, yeah, dogs, you know, around there.
But you don't cage yours when you're gone. Like right now? Yeah, they do just because she's a tough, or he's a tough.
When she was. I think the prayer. What was it, 6 months? But somebody's home, like, you can come home. Oh, you know, like, they find you there. Right. So if you're caged, aren't you?
But when he comes home, he's tired.
Mhm.
He don't want to play with the kids, he just wants to go lay his cat.
Even when she was a puppy, the same thing. Young, he would take her after work. At 3 o'clock, and then take her to 7. It was not an everything. She does that now, but for the phone time now.
Yeah.
So she's not. But yeah, I've never had a problem with boarding.
Cool.
That
makes me feel better.
The staff is just, they're fantastic at what they do. They love on the dogs. When you drop the dogs off, her dog is ecstatic. As soon as you turn the blinker on and turn
Yeah.
to the driveway, she's ready to go.
The tail starts going
The
and.
tail starts going. If you drive past, she knows we're going to do that.
Yeah.
And she'll start whining, but
Yeah.
no, we've never had an issue. They've been in business, what, over 30 years now.
I've seen them there, but I never knew,
Yeah.
But they were like, okay, good. Call her and tell her today.
The owners, but her husband and wife, they live in the house that's attached. And so we see them all the time. And I talk to the wife all the time. Yeah, we love them.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Thank you.
Thank you.
People black? Perfect.
I didn't even notice. I don't look at it. That's there for the attorneys.
Yeah. Well, I looked at it. And Tim's the one that actually saw it.
Oh, fixed it.
No, I fixed it, but he didn't want to touch it because he thought it was so down over the wall.
I don't know whatever they use. They put screws in the wall, right?
Just one.
Just one.
Yeah. And they said they can fill it if it ever comes down.
Mr. Morton,
Yes, Your Honor.
are you ready, sir?
Certainly, Your Honor.
This is 230230 LT. This is Rawsonville Woods versus Elizabeth Varner.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Morton.
I was just going to say, yeah, Your Honor, based on the defendant's failure to appear, we would ask a default judgment for possession be entered. Rents retained are $5,044.90. Court costs of $164, total $5,208.90. This is a non-payment of rent for possession only.
Thank you. This case was originally scheduled for March the 1st. Ms. Varner did appear, but the court made an error. Oh, I'm sorry. I erred in that there were 2 cases with Ms. Varner and one had been dismissed, and I advised her that it had been dismissed. And I know that your office made efforts to reach out to her, have your client reach out to her on the 1st to see if we can get her back on. Based on the court improperly releasing Ms. Varner on the 1st, I asked that we adjourn this matter to today so that notice could go out to her and advise her that she needed to appear. Case was scheduled at 9:15. It's now 9:30 by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, default judgment shall enter with rent to retain of $5,044.90, $164 in court costs for a total judgment of $5,208.90. Plaintiff's office shall submit that judgment for entry. This is 230235 LT. This is Rawsonville Woods versus Kayla Jackson. The court notes your appearance for the record, Mr. Morton. Why are we here? The parties were last here on March 1st, 2023, at which time a default judgment entered in favor of plaintiff and against defendant. The tenant called thereafter to advise that she had been given the wrong Zoom ID by court staff. Based on that, the court rescheduled the matter and did not enter the judgment that was submitted by the plaintiff's office back on March the 1st. Mr. Morton, any contact or communication update from Ms. Jackson?
No, Your Honor, we've not received any additional contact or communication. And as we're speaking, I'm just double checking to see if there's been any additional payments made on the account since the last hearing. It looks like the last payment that was made on the account was back in no, I'm confirming, it looks like it's November.
Thank you, sir. The default judgment that was presented previously by your office showed rent to retain of $5,571.08, $164 in court costs for a total judgment of $5,735.08. Is that still accurate, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
The court will enter the previously, unfortunately, Mr. Morton, I was gonna say we would enter the previously entered one, but it's marked up as having been mailed on March the 2nd, and we know that's not accurate. So if you don't mind submitting a new default judgment with those same terms.
Certainly, Your Honor. I'll submit that to the court.
Thank you.
And I think I have one other matter, but I think that's not till 9:30, Your Honor.
That's correct, sir. Thank you.
So, thank you.
Mr. Hitchcock, your case is scheduled at 9:45 unless there's some other update.
No, Your Honor. I mean, we have recalculated her rent based on some information she provided, but she still owes rent and hasn't paid it. So, well, I guess we got to wait for her.
The case is scheduled at 9:45. If she's not here by 10 o'clock, this court allows 15 minutes grace.
Yep.
If she's not
Okay.
here by 10 o'clock, I'll call the case and get you on your way.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Jackson,
Yes.
ma'am, your case was scheduled at 9:15.
Okay. My phone was dead this morning and I didn't have a charger.
Your Honor, if you'd like, I can speak to Ms. Jackson in the breakout room.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Ms. Jackson, you'll see an invitation to go into the meeting room with Mr. Morton from Pallett's Law Firm, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, ma'am.
Morning.
Your name, please?
Tequila Standifer.
Ms. Standifer, Mr. Hitchcock is here. I'm send you an invitation to go into a breakout room with him, okay? Discuss the matter. And once
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
done, you come back out, I'll call the case.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. This is a recall of 230235 LT Rawsonville Woods versus Kayla Jackson. Ms. Jackson, turn your video on, state your name for the record, please.
Hi, Kayla Jackson.
Mr. Morton, you've had an opportunity to speak to Ms. Jackson. How are we proceeding?
Your Honor, the parties have spoken and have agreed to enter into proposed consent judgment agreement. Rents retained $5,571.08. Court costs of $164 for a total of $5,735.08. The payment date is March 27, 2023. I did advise Ms. Jackson of her rights under MCR 4.201, which specifically for her, as I explained to her, was the 3-day time period. Also, I advised her she does have the right to appeal. She did give me the permission to sign her name to the proposed agreement. I also obtained her email address as she wanted to get a copy of the unentered consent judgment agreement, which I will forward to her at the same time I forward it to the court.
Ms. Jackson, you were able to hear everything Mr. Morton just said?
Yes,
And it's your agreement to enter a consent judgment with a total due of past due rent of $5,571.08, $164 and cost for a total of $5,735.08.
yes,
And you've authorized Mr. Morton to sign your name to the consent judgment with those terms.
yes,
And you understand that because he represents the Rawsonville Woods and you are not represented, the judgment will not be final and enforceable for 3 days.
yes.
Do you have any questions, Ms. Jackson?
No,
Thank you. Have a good day, ma'am. Mr. Morton, I'll
You
wait for
too.
that consent judgment. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely, Your Honor.
This is 230297 LT. This is GI&I versus Anthony Porter.
I'm just going to have you look at the notes. If you recall, this was a question of a service issue. An amended complaint was filed. So I just looked to the court to see if it has service on this because the amended complaint was filed.
The amended complaint was filed. And there's an indication that there was service made by posting on March the 5th.
I know we were last here on March 1st.
It's noted in the system, but there's no copy of the proof of service in the file, which is on the register of actions, as is an indication from court staff that notice was mailed to Mr. Porter at the Denton Road address on March the 2nd. This case was scheduled at 9:30. It's now 9:49 by this court's clock. The defendant has received notice at least by posting of the summons and complaint and notice of hearing from the court staff. Defendant has failed to appear. Mr. Morton.
Your Honor, at this time, we would ask a default judgment for possession be entered. Rents retained are $3,148. Court costs of $167 for a total of $3,315.00. This is a possession only action, Your Honor.
Why am I in here?
Thank you. Defendant having failed to appear as directed by the court, default judgment shall enter in favor of plaintiff and against defendant with the terms just provided on the record by Mr. Morton. Anything else in this matter, sir?
Nothing else, Your Honor. I believe that's the only other matter I have this morning with the court.
It is. I'll see you this afternoon, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This is 230248 LT. This is Romulus Housing Commission versus Tequila Standifer. May I have your appearances, please?
Good morning, Judge. My name is Steve Hitchcock. I'm appearing on behalf of the Romulus Housing Commission.
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm Tequila Standifer.
Thank you, ma'am. Today is the day and time set for the adjourned hearing in this matter. Mr. Hitchcock, how are we proceeding?
I think we have an agreement that her new rent is $601 per month. And the rent owing at this point is $2,590. And she can come into the housing office and work out a payment plan for that amount. And I agreed that I wouldn't send the judgment in until next Monday so that she can try to work out a payment plan. We could put that in the judgment if necessary.
Ms. Standifer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hitchcock has just indicated that your new rental rate is $601 per month and that you currently owe rent of $2,590. Is that accurate, ma'am?
Right, and I explained to him that I didn't understand how that was possible, but I was going to go into the office and figure out the information from them because they didn't tell me that before today. I didn't have any information on how they figured that or anything. So he told me he would give me until Monday to go into the office and talk to them so they can explain to me what income they're counting because I'm still not at work.
So, Mr. Hitchcock, are you looking to adjourn this matter?
No,
Or-
I would like to have a judgment entered. I will delay entering it. So if we can work out something that's different, then we won't enter that judgment, but otherwise we're going to enter the judgment for $2,590. Going to submit that to the court.
I guess I'm not clear on how you would submit a judgment when Ms. Standifer is disputing the amount.
Well,
I mean, we
They
can
haven't
go
given me
to a
anything.
full, we can go to a full hearing right now if you're ready.
Well, I'd have to get you some documents that I don't have, so you could see how it was calculated. So if we need to have a hearing, I guess we'll have to set another hearing date, which I'd like to have it live too, Judge.
Lord have mercy.
Ms. Standifer, have you not received the calculation sheet or the ledger
Yeah.
showing how they got to $2,590?
No, ma'am, they didn't give me anything at all, just like they didn't before. And that's what the delay was before also.
Well, this case has been, well, there's a ledger attached to the summons and complaint in this matter. Ms. Standifer, did you receive it when you were served with the summons and
I
complaint
received-
to appear?
Yes, ma'am, I received the initial one, but then she also had me to come back in to fill out that paperwork that she never gave me. And she was supposed to determine my income based on that. They're counting a stimulus check as an income for me. I don't even know why I ended up in court, to be honest. So if we need to go to court and talk and I can tell what happened, I can, but
Yeah.
I don't even know what's going on right now.
Well,
He used to tell
Ms.
me a
Standifer,
number.
Well,
Yes, ma'am.
today is the day and time set for hearing. The court is ready to swear the witnesses in and take testimony. Mr. Hitchcock has indicated that he would need time to get the documents in and he would be asking for an in-person hearing in this case. So we can do one of a couple of things. We can, well, we can't do one of a couple of things. We will do one thing. We will schedule this matter for hearing. This court next does landlord tenant on April the 5th.
Okay.
We can do an in-person hearing at 1:30 on that date. If you're available, if you need to check your calendar, Mr. Hitchcock and Ms. Standifer.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. In the afternoon, did you say? Or
At
morning?
1:30, yes, sir.
1:30. I can do 1:30 on April 5th.
That's fine, Your Honor.
We will do a live trial, in-person trial here in courtroom number 1 at the 34th District Court on April the 5th, 2023 at 1:30 p.m. That is the time, Ms. Standifer, that you should have all of your witnesses and documents available. If in the meantime, you reach a different agreement with Mr. Hitchcock and Romulus Housing and you reduce it to writing, signed by both parties and submitted to the court, you would not need to appear. Otherwise, I expect to see you both here in person in courtroom number 1 at 1:30. There's something scheduled at 1 and something scheduled at 2. So we'll be starting promptly at 1:30. The court will be ready to swear witnesses in and take testimony in this matter. So if you have documents that you want Mr. Hitchcock to consider, Ms. Standifer, I would suggest you send it to him so that he has an opportunity to review them with his client beforehand. The same thing to you, Mr. Hitchcock, if there's something that you want Ms. Standifer to review, submit it to her so that the parties are not disputing and reviewing documents at 1:30 on April the 5th.
I will do so, Judge.
Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Hitchcock?
Nothing further.
Anything else, Ms. Standifer?
No, thank you.
Thank you. I'll see you on April the 5th. Have a good afternoon.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Blay. I'm here with Cindy Randall, my sister.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Fine, yourself?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. I just contacted, I guess they're on right now. I just contacted Mrs. Mary Sitnorowski to inform her of the hearing.
Mr. Sitnorowski,
Yes.
could you turn your video on, please?
Video? Turn the video on?
There should have been a box that just popped up saying, asking that you activate your video. Thank you.
Welcome.
This is 230914 LT. This is Cindy Randall versus Mary Sitnorowski. May I have your appearances, please?
Attorney George Long appearing on behalf of the plaintiff, Miss Cindy Randall, P79687, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ma'am, would you state your name for the record, the tenant?
My name, Mary Sutnorowski.
Yes.
Mary
Thank
Sutnorowski.
you. Today is the day and time set for the adjourned hearing in this matter. This case was filed as a health hazard emergency case requesting immediate adjournment. When we were last here on March the 1st, the court adjourned the matter to allow the parties to present any documents they wanted the court to consider. And for you, Ms. Sitnorowski, an opportunity to respond to the summons that you had received. Mr. Long, are you ready to proceed this morning?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ma'am, are you ready to proceed?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Long, it's your complaint, sir. How are we proceeding this morning?
Your Honor, we filed our complaint for possession of property and an immediate order for eviction due to a health hazard continuing and ongoing. It was causing extensive damage to the premises. During that matter, as you previously stated, to have our matter heard today in court, provided an email from the APS worker as advised. To my knowledge, Mrs. Sitnorowski has not cured any defects in the property by the date stated today. And we're requesting an immediate order for possession and eviction, Your Honor.
Ma'am, do you have any response or defense to the claims made in the complaint in this case?
Oh, yes, I'm trying to clean it up. I have a bunch of recycling. In the last 2 weeks, I've recycled, but I have a bunch more to do. So I'm trying to do my best to get stuff done. I want to clean it up. I want it to be nice again. It's not damaged. It's just really messy. Because I have kitty cats and I had bags of recycling and they kind of got into them. So I have to pick all those up, and then the recycling is only open once a week.
If I may, Your
Respectfully,
Honor.
ma'am, the court has received pictures from Mr. Long's on behalf of the plaintiff in this case, and it does not appear to be an issue of recycling or anything that a cat or cats could have done. The court is also in receipt of documents from Tamia Bean from the Department of Health and Human Services regarding this issue and the state of affairs at the property located at 22250. I'm sorry. she provided your address, but we're talking about 107 the Ponderosa Trail. I'm sorry, Mr. Long, you were starting to say something.
Yes, the plaintiffs, they would like to take responsibility to remove the health hazards in an efficient way that would be safe, and dispose of the waste at their convenience, Your Honor.
Ma'am, is there anything else you'd like to say on your own behalf?
Well, they took pictures from the outside through the windows. They opened windows and took pictures, and the stuff laying around. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff laying around, but I was kind of busy and I repicked stuff up and stacked it. That's why all the stuff is stacked like that. And I know it's a lot of stuff, but I can get it cleaned up, and I will get it cleaned up. Some of it will be garbage because you can't recycle once it's pretty much trashed up, but a lot of it is still recyclable. And I even have a person this last Saturday when I went recycling, I met a person and she asked me, because I walked to the recycling place, which is not that far away, but since it's cold and everything, she offered to meet me, and that way I can take even more recycling on Saturday. And I've already gotten rid of a lot of the garbage too on garbage day.
I would also like to add, Your Honor, that the defendant doesn't have a lease or any contract with the plaintiffs at all. She has not paid any rent, which has not been requested by my clients. They only seek possession of their property, Your Honor.
Mr. Long, will you be taking testimony from your client this morning?
Yes, Your Honor. I call plaintiff Cindy Randall.
Ms. Randall, would you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you swear or affirm testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. You may put your hand down, Mr. Long. Your question, sir.
Good morning, Mrs. Randall. Do you have a contract or any type of lease or obligation with Mrs. Sitnarowski?
No.
Has Ms. Sitnarowski, has she paid any rent, or have you received or accepted any rent?
No.
Have you requested that Ms. Sitnarowski return the premises to your ownership?
Yes, I have.
Is it your wish that Mr. Sitnarowski vacate the premises immediately?
Yes, it is.
I have no further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Ma'am, how did she come to be in possession of the property?
Her mother had a life estate of the property, and she passed away in December. Several years ago, Mary came to live with her mother, and after her mother's death, she's continued to stay there.
Thank you. Ms. Antonovsky, do you have any questions for Ms. Randall?
No, only I consider them family, and I mean, if my mom was still alive, it would be no problems. So I'm kind of wondering why it's a problem with me. I mean, I want to clean it up. I didn't mean it for it to get that messy, but things kind of happen just like with my mom.
Ma'am, the court will swear you in and take testimony, but do you have any questions for Ms. Randall?
Oh, that was just kind of it. I mean, I never really, I just wondered why she didn't care enough to check on me first. Or they never cared enough to check on my mom even.
Ma'am, I mean, questions regarding either her testimony that she just gave or the nature of the case, which is a health hazard case. Questions about why we're here this morning.
Um, I don't really know what I can question about because I'm not gonna deny that it's a mess. It's not, I mean, it can be cleaned up. So that's what I would like to do. I would like to still be there.
Do you have any, so do you have any questions for Ms. Randall? Questions? You can ask her whatever you want to ask her. I just, when you're asking why she didn't check on you and your mother, I don't know if you're saying that that question has something to do with the condition of the premises.
No,
Okay.
I'm just saying that I want to get everything cleaned up. And I'm sorry that it happened. I just got too busy doing other things.
So ma'am, if you don't have any actual questions for Ms. Randall,
I guess not, no.
okay. Anything else, Mr. Long, as for Ms. Randall?
No, Your Honor, not at this time.
Thank you. Do you have any other witnesses, Mr. Long?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ma'am, Ms. Centrinoski, would you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you swear or affirm testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Ma'am, your testimony this morning as in response to the complaint served in this case and the notice. You can
What's
put your
that?
hand down.
Okay.
What is it that you want to say in response or in defense of the complaint that's been filed against you? This is your opportunity to say whatever it is that you want to be considered.
Well, I lived with my mom there to help her for almost 7 years. And before that, I would come and stay with her for probably maybe 10 years. And we have animals. We adopted a kitty cat from outside that is, I know from my neighbors, that's almost 20. And that's the only place she's ever lived. I want to still be there because that's where I feel close to my mom at. And I know it's their property. I'm not asking for it to be my property. I just want to be able to stay there, and I will clean it up and I will keep it clean. I'll have time to keep it clean now. And I would really appreciate it if I could stay there because I have all the animals. I have a kitty that I came there with. She's going to be 7 years old in a couple of weeks, and that's the only place that she's ever lived. And I just feel next to my mom there. I know I did wrong. I shouldn't have ever let it get that bad, but I did. I just want to clean it up, and I want to think good about everybody, and I'm not going to stop thinking good about everybody. I love everybody. They're my family, even though I didn't get to see them. Her mom was my aunt. She was my mom's good friend, and I miss her terribly, like I miss my mom. I miss them all, and I just feel part of them when I'm there, and I just want to make things right, and I want to stay there. Not asking to stay there forever, but I just want to stay there. I have all these animals, and I have me, and I really don't have another option. I just feel safe there. And I have neighbors that are around me that I help, and they help me. If I need anything, I can go to the neighbors, and when they want something done, I go to their house and help them do things. I just really, really would appreciate it if I could just still stay there. I mean, I just love it there so much. Me and my mom loved it there. It feels like she's still there. I even think of Uncle Randy and Aunt Diane all the time. I think of Uncle Randy when I'm walking around outside. And I want to clean it up and make it. Uncle Randy would have, I'm sure, given me the chance. He would have said, you get it cleaned up and you can stay here. I know he would have. He might not have liked all the kitty cats around, but he would have said, okay, if you take care of them, they're animals too. And I'm a little doggy. She's been there for 2 years now. And I have doggies that aren't alive anymore that are buried there. I just want to be there so bad. And I want you guys to come over and visit if I can stay there. I want you guys. I missed you guys when you didn't come around. When me and my mom used to go to the store and I would see your kids, I loved it so much. Even Jordan, one time, we were at the store. She saw my mom in the car. She hadn't seen him for how long. And she remembered her. And she came over to the car and we had Bandit with us. And she was so happy to see us. And I'd never met her before, but I could tell how sweet she was. And I got out of the car and we were talking and she took a picture of me and Bandit. She was so happy and so sweet. It's the only time I've gotten to see her, but my mom just loved it because she remembered her. She babysit her when she was a baby, her and Isaiah. I just want all those memories and I want you guys. I wish I could have seen you guys more, even a long time ago. I never forgot you guys. I remember you guys when you were little at the Hillsdale Fair, you remembered me. You came up to me. I forgot what you guys wanted, but it was just the idea that I hadn't seen you for so long. You remembered me. You're my family. You always will be.
Anything else about what brings us here this morning, ma'am?
Just, I'm really sorry that all this happened, and I wanted to get everything all cleaned up, and then I wanted to figure out a way to find Cindy again, but I didn't know how. But I probably would have figured out a way, even if I had to figure out where she lived and knock on her door, I would have done it. I didn't even tell anybody when that happened to my mom. My family all knew, but none of my neighbors knew. They found out from one of my other neighbors. I don't know how, but it was just too hard for me to talk about it. It still is. You know, it's a part of life, but it's really sad and it's hard to deal with. I guess I just
Anything
really
else?
wanna, what?
I was asking anything else specifically about what brings us here this morning?
Just, it wouldn't have happened. I would have, by the time they found out, it probably would have been a lot cleaned up because I had been working on it. But my brother I was staying nights at his house too because he didn't like me to be alone because what happened to my mom. So he was kind of trying to help me. So in between that, I was trying to do stuff so that I didn't get enough done. And I still want to get stuff done and I want to show them I can get it done.
Anything else, ma'am?
There's a lot of stuff outside that needs done too, like pieces of trees that are falling and I need to get all that done. That's all I can think of, I guess, just that I want to really work hard and get everything done so they can come over and see their house because it is their house. I just stay there. I know that, but I want them to be able to come over and see that their house is nice again.
Mr. Long, do you have any questions for her?
Yes, Your Honor. I know that, I wasn't sure if, Mrs. Sitnarowski was going to testify. I would like to call another witness first, and if it would be permissible, and then go back and, no?
No.
Okay. Yes, I would like to question Ms. Sitnarowski. Ms.
Please
Sitnarowski, have you had any contact with Adult Protective Services?
Is that the people that like said they were checking up on me?
Yes. Did anyone from Adult Protective Services inform you that the property was hazardous and that you should not be living there?
That day that, I think her name is Miss T, they were saying that.
So did she say that you should not be living there due to the continuing health and hazard to that property on 22250 Prince Road?
They said something like that, and I said, I've been living there and I'm perfectly healthy. And they tried to force me to go to a doctor, and I said, I don't need to go to a doctor because I'm perfectly healthy. I mean, I can walk 10 miles if I had to, or more. I mean, it takes a long time to walk 10 miles, but I can do it.
Thank you, Ms. Sitnarowski. And again, my sympathies and condolences regarding your mother's recent passing. Did you speak to law enforcement? Were police called when Adult Protective Services were at the home at 22250 Prince Road?
The day everybody was there was a girl police there. I don't know her name for sure. I don't think she said her name, but I think somebody told me it might be Beth.
Okay, and did Beth inform you that you were not to re-enter the property?
Not to what?
To not re-enter the property on Prince Road.
Well, they said something like that, and I said, well, if I don't go in it, how am I going to clean it? And they didn't really say. And when I told her that I was going to clean it, and she talked about how long it would take me and how, where I would put all the stuff, and I talked about recycling, and she agreed with me, and she told somebody recycling is only one time a week. So I'm not really sure about the rest of it. I mean, I told them the same thing, that, to go in there, I'm not asking anybody else to take a health hazard. I'm taking it myself.
You answered the question. Thank you.
Okay,
So
thank you.
It's under your understanding that law enforcement and Adult Protective Services have deemed the property a health hazard and that you should not enter the premises.
They said that, but when I said I would clean it up, they didn't know what to say about that, because how can I get it cleaned up if I don't go in?
Final question. When was the last time that you were at the property on Prince Road?
Last time I was there?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Today.
In defiance of the order by the law enforcement and APS?
I didn't have anybody ordering me.
No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you, Ms. Sitnarowski.
Thank you. Ma'am, was there anything else, any other witnesses or documents you wanted to present this morning?
I wasn't sure about what was meant by witnesses or documents. All I know is that my Uncle Randy, he let my mom stay there, and then I stayed there. And to begin with, my mom was supposed to, she was supposed to take, not even have to worry about, there was a rental property and another property, and she was supposed to use that money to take care of everything. And the other property got given to Cindy. So my mom had to rely on just the rental property to take care of everything. And they didn't always pay when they should. So my mom just did the best she could. And I helped her. I want to continue doing stuff.
I'm trying to think of how to say this. In terms of witnesses and documents, this case is asking for you to be immediately removed from the property because of the conditions of it. And because of this statement from Adult Protective Services that you should not be in the unit, should not return there to live. Is there any witnesses that have evidence to the contrary, or do you have any documents, pictures to the contrary?
I maybe could get like something written from my neighbors or from the recycling that showed that I've been cleaning it up. Would that be documents?
That would be, but today is the day. When we put this matter over to today, it was to allow time for those things to be ready for today. So is there anything else you have right now regarding the hearing that is being conducted?
Well, my nephew knows that I've been cleaning it up. Would that be a witness?
If you want him to be a witness, ma'am, I will call him and you can question him, and then Mr. Long will question him.
Okay. Should I ask them if they want to do it?
If that's what you want to do, ma'am, it's your case, it's your defense.
That's the only thing I can have for witnesses, because I didn't know. I thought of getting like a statement from my neighbors, but I didn't know if that would work, so I didn't ask them. But I can ask my nephew and my big brother. They both know that I've been trying to clean it up and that I have the animals there and doing the best that I can.
Ma'am, if that's what you want to do, if you want to call them, please. Whichever
Okay.
ones you want to call first.
I'll get my nephew. Rich, do you want to be a witness? Do you want to be a witness that says that I let it get messy, but I also have cleaned it up before? Okay. So, you need to connect to that. My big brother, he's in the bathroom right now, but he said that he'll be a witness. I'm not sure where my nephew is right now, so I'll only have my big brother just to say how things got messy before and I've cleaned them up before, and that's what I'm doing right now. If I can
So
get the
he's
chance.
not ready right now.
No, he's in the bathroom. I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. It's fine.
If I would have known about pictures, I would have taken pictures of what some small stuff I've already done.
Not to be indelicate, ma'am, but if your brother is going to testify, do you have any idea how long he will be? There's what
No.
I'm saying. I'm not trying to be indelicate in asking that question. It's just, we're here and we're ready.
Okay.
And I saw, okay.
I think he's almost done. I think I heard the water. Yeah, he's coming. Okay. She just wants to know. I just showed you my witness. That I've been trying to do whatever I've been trying to do.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Would you remove your cap for me, please?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Thank you. That's okay. State your name.
Richard Satnorowski.
Mr. Sandanowski, would you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you swear or affirm testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may put your hand down. Ma'am, your questions for him, please.
My questions?
Yes, ma'am. That's your witness. You question your witness, and then Mr. Long will cross-examine him.
Oh, okay. So do you think that with, that I would be able to stay there and get it cleaned up? And I keep thinking,
She's been cleaning up.
and I've done it before. And I've let it get messy, but not that messy, and I've
Ma'am,
cleaned it up.
you have to allow it, ma'am, you have to allow him to answer the question. You ask him a question, he'll respond.
Okay, sorry.
She's
you.
been cleaning up. I've taken garbage out of there in bags, brought them over to my place, put them in my garbage collection to be picked up. And I was doing it again, gonna do it again this weekend. Bring the garbage home and put it in the garbage pickup. But she has been cleaning it.
Any
Yeah,
other
go ahead.
questions, ma'am?
And it's been messy before and I've gotten it cleaned up before, so you think I could get it cleaned up again if I keep trying?
Yes, she can get it cleaned up again. If she gets over there and cleans.
Anything else, ma'am?
For my brother? Or for you?
Yes. Do you have any other questions for your brother, ma'am?
No.
No.
Do you think
Mr.
I'm
Long,
doing-
any questions?
Yes, good morning, Mr. Sidnorowski. And Mary is your sister, is that correct?
That's correct. I'm her oldest brother.
Correct. And the premises on 22250 Prince Road, where your mother resided?
That's where my mother resided.
And your mother recently passed away on December 16th, 2022?
Yes, she did. She passed away.
I'm
in
sorry to hear
December.
that. I'm sorry to hear that. So, since the passing of your mother, has Mary indicated that she entered into a leasing agreement or any type of agreement with Miss Randall?
I don't think so. I talked to her when I went over there to check them, get the mail. She was there. That's when I had a talk with her.
So to your knowledge, is there any contract for Mary to reside in the Randall
I know.
property, Prince Road?
Yeah,
So have you viewed the premises on Prince Road, Mr. Sidnorowski? Have you been there?
have I been there?
So at the property at issue, this hearing is regarding health.
Yeah,
hazards.
I've been there.
Okay, and you indicated that you transported bags of garbage to your residence?
She was sorting through them for recycling.
Recycling.
Recycle.
So
But
Go ahead.
I've been taking bags out of there, recycled or not, and just bringing them home, putting them in
How
my
many
garbage.
bags, excuse me, how many bags have you taken from the residence to your home?
Gosh, I don't know.
And maybe
They're big bags, so I'm gonna say maybe 20.
And how many
10,
more
20.
bags, how many more bags do you estimate that you would be required to transport?
Oh, quite a few bags. I don't know how many.
So have you discussed the state of the premises with Mrs. Narowski?
Did I?
Yes, have you talked to her about the continuing state of the hazards that are existing in the premises?
Yes.
Are you aware that law enforcement and adult protective services has come out to that residence and advised Miss Mary Sitnorowski that she should not be there?
I wasn't advised of that, but I was advised by, Tracy and Sumter Police when I went over there to check the mail.
And what did Sumter Police have to say to you, Mrs. Sitnorowski?
She didn't really say too much. Tracy did all the talking.
And what was that discussion about? Why were you there at the premises while police were there, and what was the discussion about?
Why I was there, it was just to check the mail.
Okay.
I was on my way home from work because I work some strange hours. Okay. And I just happened to pull up and I seen them there. And I got out of the car and then Tracy just came up and started talking to me. And I told her, I said, the place, Mary is cleaning the place up. But she's gonna need more time because I've been helping her a little bit here and there by taking care of the garbage and bringing it home. But I also told her, I says, it was a mess. It is a mess. And then the police officer asked me if I was ever into the house if my mom died. And I said, no. I said, I just come over and grab the bags and pick them up, and Mary puts them on the porch and I grab them.
So thank you, Mr. Sitnorowski. So I'm gonna ask you, so do you know what the police were there for? I mean, what was it? Why was law enforcement there with Adult Protective Service?
That was never mentioned. I don't know. I do not know. A well-being check, I think, or something like that.
In your estimate, is the premises livable right now for human habitants? I mean, would you live in those premises right now?
Do I what now?
Would you live in it and reside at 225 Old Prince Road? Is it permissible to live in?
I don't reside there, no.
Have you stayed the night there?
No, not since my mom, when my mom was alive, I used to go over there all the time.
Would you feel comfortable staying there right now in that premises, in that state?
No.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. Do you have any other questions for him?
do I?
Yes, ma'am.
Um,
You don't have to. It's just procedurally what happens is you have a witness, your witness is cross-examined, and then if you have any follow-up questions for your witness.
I'm just saying, I would ask him, my brother wouldn't want to stay there, no, but he has his own house to stay in, so he wouldn't have to stay in there, and I guess if anybody would choose not to stay there, they wouldn't, but it doesn't bother me staying there because I know I have to clean it up and I have animals to take care of. But
ma'am, Do you have questions? Do you have any other questions for him?
For the lawyer?
For me.
No,
Oh.
for your brother.
Oh, well, I get that you don't want to stay there, so, but you would have stayed there when mom was there, wouldn't you? If you would have had to,
Yeah, yeah.
but after
When mom died,
you didn't really want to be over there.
I didn't want to go back in.
But to me, that's where I feel happy. And I want to clean it up. I want you to know that I want to clean it up. And you always told me I better get busy and clean it up. And I told you I would. And that's what I was trying to do. It was a little bit hard. I mean, after that happened to my mom, I was still doing, I had a good start on it the week my mom was in
Ma'am.
the hospital.
Ma'am,
Yes.
I understand that you're not an attorney and the court gives leeway for that, but let's try to focus. Do you have any
Okay.
questions? Do you have any other questions for him?
Do you think that I'm doing a good job so far?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The-
Ma'am, is there anything else you want to say?
Just kind of the same thing that I've already said, that I would really appreciate still being able to stay in the house. I know it wasn't, the agreement wasn't made with me, it was made with my mom, but I know my Uncle Randy wouldn't have cared if I was there, because he did the same thing. He would want me to have a place to stay, and I didn't have a place to stay anymore, so I stayed with my mom. And while she was there, I did my best to help her. And her room was never messy. I never let her room get messy. There were the places that she had to go, but I just want a chance. I would like to just stay there and prove to everybody that I can be a good person. I am a good person. If I would have known, my neighbors say that about me. I'll help anybody do anything. They try to pay me and I say, no, I just want to do it. When some of my neighbors do pay me, they won't let me do anything for them without taking money. And they make me food sometimes too, to show their appreciation. And I just want Cindy and Tracy to know that I am a good person. I just made a little boo-boo. It was a big boo-boo, I know. But I want to make up for my boo-boos, and I can only make up for my boo-boos if they allow me to stay there. And maybe that if I got to stay in there, I mean, I could keep a record of what I'm doing with pictures and document it. So how that I'm doing, that I'm not just doing nothing and staying there. I want to do this stuff and I want to get it done. I want to know that I can be able to stay there.
Anything else, ma'am? Anything else, Mr. Long?
Yes, Your Honor, I'd just like to summarize, I understand that these are extraordinary circumstances, Mrs. shared for years. I would just request that the court, if they're inclined to grant the order of eviction and immediate possession, that if there's some resources that could be provided to Mrs. Sitnorowski, that the court advise her to some support services that could possibly help advise her going forward in her situation, Your Honor.
Anything else, ma'am?
Well, I just really want to stay there, and I know it's hard for them. It's hard for me. I want to believe in the good in people, and I want to believe I know there's good in Cindy and Tracy. I love them. And I want to believe there's enough good in them to let me stay there. I know it's their property, but I mean, I don't want to maybe stay there forever, but I want to stay there for a while, at least for a year. So it helped me get over my mom. And then after that, I can decide what I want to do. And I want to be able to see them during that time and show them that I'm taking care of everything the right way. We both love animals, and I have animals there that I have to worry about. And I know Cindy takes very good care of her animals, just like I do. And I know Tracy has had animals before too, and she does the same. And that's all I want, is to be able to stay there with my animals and just continue to live like I was, and only keep it clean this time.
Anything else, Mr. Long?
Your Honor, we renew our request for immediate possession and eviction of the property. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. The court has had the opportunity to review the file in its entirety and listen to the witnesses this morning and allowed a little bit more meandering testimony than usual because these are unusual circumstances. Health hazard cases are very rarely seen in this court. In the court file is a notice from February 9, 2023 to the tenant in this, to the defendant in this matter, indicating that the plaintiff was seeking recovery of the property due to extensive and continuing damage to the property and serious and continuing health hazard. That further indicated that there were food, garbage, excrement, and filth which present a continuing health hazard along with animal remains on the porch. Attached to the summons and complaint in this matter and confirmed by the defendant when the parties appeared back on March 1st were pictures of what appeared to be a kitchen from 2 different angles, 3 different angles, storage somewhere else, and the bones of an animal somewhere else. This court had great concerns about the conditions of the property. When the parties were here on March 1st, there was an allegation that a statement that Adult Protective Services were already involved in this matter, but no documentation of that. The court is now in receipt of documentation that shows that the defendant has been directed by Adult Protective Services and law enforcement that she should not be living at the home as it is hazardous and not suitable for living. There has been no testimony that the issues raised in the February 9th notice or in the complaint have been abated, or that Adult Protective Services has rescinded their directive that the defendant not return to the premises as a place to live. Based on that, the court will find that the plaintiff has met its burden of proving that there is an ongoing health hazard and risk of damage to the property, either caused by or continue to allow to exist by the defendant in this matter. For that reason, the court will enter judgment in this matter. The court has not yet received a judgment. The court did receive an application for eviction, but that is premature at this time. Once the judgment enters and Ms. Centranowski has had an opportunity to receive that judgment, the court will then entertain the plaintiff's motion for eviction. It will not be an immediate eviction only because we have not received the entry of a judgment yet. So you have to do one before you can do the other. Anything else in this matter, Mr. Long?
No, Your Honor, you will have the entry of judgment with
Thank you.
both business.
Anything else, ma'am?
I heard you say something about, well, how they took views of the kitchen. I didn't spend a lot of time in the kitchen. That's why that area was like that. And that's, I just stacked myself up, try to get it picked up. And there are bones on the porch because there's a lot of wild animals at the woods, and raccoonies and the other little long-tailed animals come. And sometimes they act hurt, and I helped them, and I've helped them before. I put one in a box before until it got better.
Ma'am,
Oh.
I'm going to interrupt you because respectfully, your brother has testified that there was a well-being check at the house. You have confirmed that the police came to the house with Adult Protective Services, which indicates to this court that there is something more serious going on. Adult Protective Services and the police both would have had an opportunity to view the property themselves. And whatever it is that they saw at that property caused them enough concern that they asked you to relocate, and that Adult Protective Services worker, Tomia Bean, put in writing that you are not supposed to be at that property. That being the case, and their indication that you have not been okay to return to the property is not someplace you'll be living, is the basis for this court's ruling. This matter is concluded. Mr. Long's office will submit a judgment allowing his client immediate possession. Once that judgment is signed and entered, it will be mailed to you at the address that you were served in this matter, and the court will thereafter enter an order immediately restoring the property to Miss Cindy Randall as the deed holder of the property. That concludes this matter. That concludes this court's docket for the day. This court stands adjourned. Everyone is free to go.